We're going to take the biggest weight off your shoulders when it comes to your New Year's goals.
And it's actually kind of embarrassing to tell you guys, but I
I wish I did this sooner.
we as doctors, we almost expect life to be fairly hard and we almost expect that things don't come easy, but these are really easy fixes.
It's not that I'm not a disciplined person. It's not that I'm not motivated. It's that this bit was harder than it needed to be. And how can I make that part easy so that I can make achieving my goal easy?
Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Dr. Becc.
And I am Kristeen Barker, and this is Am I Doing It Wrong? A podcast for doctors by doctors. Every week on the pod, we'll be bringing you conversations which shine light in dark places, normalise the doctor journey, ease unnecessary suffering, and give you actionable steps to thrive in all facets of your life. So grab a cuppa and get cozy for this week's episode of Am I Doing It Wrong? The podcast for doctors by doctors.
So this is the vibe. Fireworks, new year. Yes, it's January. Let's go. And guys, today's episode, we just hope we're going to take the biggest weight off your shoulders when it comes to your New Year's goals. And in doing that, we're actually going to make it more likely that you achieve your goals. We have identified over the last couple of years of setting goals, both professionally and personally in our lives, that sometimes it is not the big questions of self-belief and motivation and ceilings and blocks and the deeper reasons that we don't achieve our goals. Sometimes they're very simple, little, basic things. Those things that you're like, I wish I did this sooner. I wish I knew this sooner. I just wish I did this 5 years ago. I can hear you laughing on the other side. It's like, that feeling. So that is what this episode is all about today. We're going to spend 20 minutes together. We're going to give you a bunch of different ideas about little things that are going to not only make your life easier, but make you more likely to actually get better results in your life. So welcome to the episode and welcome to 2025, the year that you actually stick with your goals. Kristeen, give us our first example.
I'm just loving your vibe, the fireworks, the 2025. It does feel like a good year. It does feel like a good year. This was top of mind because I keep getting in my own way, and it's actually kind of embarrassing to tell you guys, but I have a long drive home from work, right? And every time I'm on the drive home, I'm stuck in traffic. And now that it's summer and there's late nights and the sun doesn't go down for ages, it's a beautiful night for walking, getting some exercise, getting out in nature. I pass beautiful beaches on my way home. I pass Albert Park on my way home. And there's so many times that I've been sitting in my car being like, like I would love to just get out of traffic and go there and just go for a walk, let this traffic die down, and then go home. I actually would like to do that. And the reason I don't do that is because I don't have shoes, runners, sunscreen, a hat, name your excuse. I don't have it with me, and so I couldn't possibly. And the thing is I've done this countless times now, like on the repeat. I have sat, I'd say at least 20 times in my car at this stage being like, I really would love to go for a walk right now, and I can't because I've got heels on or something. And so I was thinking about this and I was like, what is that all about? Why am I so in my own way and it just keeps happening? And so I came up with this solution, which was to have a little outdoor box that has everything I need for any weather and just keep it in my car. Now that sounds completely obvious, but I mean, how amazing would it be that I would be ready for anything, and when the mood strikes, I don't have an excuse to not exercise or get out in nature or whatever it is that I would ultimately like to do. So I feel like that's just one example of how we get in our own way, and I have countless examples of this in my life, but I'm super keen to hear from you, Becc. Do you have anything like this in your life?
When you said, and it's embarrassing, it feels embarrassing. Okay, yes. My examples feel embarrassing too because they feel too simple or maybe too comfort orientated or just basic things that feel like they don't need to be something that you execute on or put into a system in your life. But this is the trap that we fall into, and this is the reason why we haven't done these things, the reason why we haven't set up these systems, and the reason in part why we haven't achieved these goals that are very achievable, right? So I just feel like the first thing is Kristeen and I both had that experience of, wow, that feels embarrassing to even have to set this up as we talk about these things. And that embarrassment and that writing it off as being too simple, too small, too easy is what you need to overcome to finally change the system. Because I think so many of us have been taught in medicine, in this clinician conditioning, that we only get results by working hard, by struggling, and that the only honorable results and the only honorable way to achieve something or do something is through discipline. But guys, things are allowed to be easy, particularly if you're a clinician and you live this big, busy clinical life with all of the extracurricular stuff, academics and so on, that we often add in as clinicians, spun with the often unpredictable sleep schedules that you get, even into consultancy just from being on call. You need to be able to make things that are important in your life easy, because you just don't have enough willpower to use discipline in every part of your life. So I just wanted to say that first, because I just felt that as you said, it's embarrassing, because I felt that too. Let me tell you a couple of my things. They're ultimate like conveniences and comforts that just don't feel like they are that necessary, but the comfort really helps me. So one thing is, so I've got my gym tights. I've always bought Lululemon tights, just because, I don't know, when I went through so many pairs of tights when I was in med school, and like these ones would fall down and these ones would stretch once I washed them a couple of times and blah, blah, blah. Landed on Lululemon. I'm like, yes, these tights work. They just stay up on my waist as I work out. Done. So I bought Lululemon tights year after year after year religiously. But I found that I had this little bit of resistance in the morning to putting on these like quite almost constrictive tight workout gear tights. So they're like the running tights, the resistance training tights that they hold onto your body so they don't fall down when you're jumping around. Every morning I walk my dog with my partner. We just get up and go for a casual walk. I do not need athletic tights for this walk, but I would just have this resistance and kind of almost avoid getting dressed and drag out the morning. Do you guys do that? When you don't really want to do something, and then suddenly 5 minutes have passed extra, suddenly you're 10 minutes late. You know, if there's a social event you don't really want to go to and you're just like running progressively more and more late as your subconscious mind is just having you avoid it. I would do that with putting on my tights as I eventually got with some self-awareness. So I decided to buy some very simple, stretchy, comfy yoga tights, just to wear on my walk in the morning. And I just throw them on like a loose, comfy pair of pants. I go for my walk. And suddenly I have no resistance to getting dressed. I have no time wasted. I don't waste a thought or an emotion in the morning thinking about putting on my tights. It seems like a really small thing. It seems like an insignificant discomfort to want to fix, to have to fix. But remember, the point isn't that I should be able to push through this very mild discomfort. The point is, how can you make your life easy? How can you make it more likely that you will achieve the goal that you want to achieve by taking the daily actions that you want to take? It doesn't have to be a big, complicated, massive discomfort or pain in your day. It can be creating the simplest bits of ease in your day that makes a difference. It actually makes me think about the famous big innovators, like Steve Jobs is the one who comes to mind, wears the same thing every day. And you can bet that that's going to be a comfortable outfit, because he's not going to want to waste one moment of mental or emotional energy on discomfort. So that's one of my things that came to mind, as a real simple, easy upgrade that genuinely made a difference. It's quite funny for me to think about now, as somebody who doesn't hesitate. Getting up and getting dressed and going for the walk is very smooth and easy now. Only now that it's so smooth and easy can I actually see how that was a significant burden. And it did actually end up eating into my time.
I love this so much. And can I get an amen to the whole wardrobe thing? Because I was just thinking about Steve Jobs as well, and how he had the same outfit every day. And I know people that also do this, but I was thinking about all of the doctor humans who are wearing scrubs as well. They must be thinking, well, that is exactly my motivation for that in the morning, because I just go to work in pajamas. It is both comfy and thoughtless. Like, I don't have to think about anything. I'm sure that will be resonating with a lot of people, and it does kind of change your life. I also loved how like, listen to your story about the yoga pants, and I feel like yoga pants should be worn on all occasions. Is it just me, or is like when you get into your late 30s, you sort of celebrate life with comfy pajamas or something? So I'm resonating with the yoga pants on so many levels. But I think it's a beautiful example of something that seems so small and yet is a big, massive barrier somehow. And I feel like what we love to do in this episode is just by sharing these stories of what seem like kind of trivial or very small things, recognizing that they are, or they were in the way, like really, really in the way. And like Beck's saying, we as doctors, we almost expect life to be fairly hard, and we almost expect that things don't come easy, but these are really easy fixes. There are definitely ways around these, and it's just about changing your system. And so we wanted to inspire you to have a think about these kind of things that are coming up for you. And I feel like the way that you identify them is because they are repetitive. Like, how many times did you try and go on that morning walk wearing really uncomfortable pants? Like, before you were like, I really need to change this system. It's amazing how it comes again and again. So I think if you're doing something that's repetitively, it feels like a real time waster, it feels like something you don't want to do, I think asking yourself, is there a better way to do this? Or why is this uncomfortable and how can I change it? It's just really something that you probably surprise yourself in terms of what you come up with.
Yeah. And Kristeen, you talked about this as like really changing your systems and processes, which is, I know something that from creating your online medical education programs, you know that very clearly from business. You have to create systems and processes if you want to hold the hundreds and hundreds of brilliant trainees through your program. You have to have systems and processes. And we want you guys to think about how, even if your goal is, let's say your goal is, take like my example here, say your goal, we both had walking examples. I didn't even realize. Okay, say your goal is to walk more. And just darling, we were coaching on a walking example last month. So say your goal is to walk more, like many of us as doctors, apparently. I want you to think about the walk, the whole experience of the walk as a system, right? Not just going for a walk. Often when you think about your goal, you just think about literally being out there on the walk. But I want you to think about the start, where the walk really starts and where the walk really ends. So here, when you look at walking as a system, hopefully Kristeen and I have prompted you to be like, okay, why, in retrospect, why didn't I walk today? Oh, the reason was because I didn't have shoes in my car as I was driving past a really enjoyable, great option for a walk. The one for me is, it's not that I wasn't going for the walk, but what I could see was the problem in my day was sometimes I'd have to shorten the walk. The walk wasn't fitting into my morning as strategically and efficiently and as planned, because I'd be starting my walk a little bit late. And you got to ask why. The walk is a system. Where in the system did things go wrong? Was I coming home from my walk late because I was walking too long? No, that wasn't the reason. The reason was because I left home late. Why did I leave home late? Not because I wasn't disciplined, not because I wasn't motivated, but because I was avoiding putting on my tights, right? So getting down to that nitty gritty the parts of the system and just identifying the really easy low hanging fruit, instead of ultimately what we can all do, which is say, it's the 3rd week of January now, and I haven't kept up my walking habit. Therefore, I'm just not motivated. I'm just not disciplined. I'm just not somebody who can walk or exercise every day. I want to sweep it into this generalized statement instead of actually going and being like, wait a second, it's not that I'm not a disciplined person. It's not that I'm not motivated. It's that this bit was harder than it needed to be. It required more willpower than I was willing to give to it. And how can I make that part easy, so that I can make achieving my goal easy? So permission to make things easy is something that we want to give to you, highlight, underscore. And thinking about your goals and actually executing the goal as a system and looking at all the different points of the system that you can intervene on to make it easy. Not necessarily systematically, but as Kristeen said, looking back, what happened? What went wrong? Where I'm seeing this pattern in my life, what's going on, instead of just throwing out baby with the bathwater. So let's just wrap up with giving you a few more examples, just because we've narrowed down on walking apparently. But let's give you a few more examples to jog your brain as to things that you might be able to change. So for me, I've long known, for whatever reason, I feel really good when I have a liter of water in the morning. It's just always what I've done. I feel really good when I do it. I think it's also because we do these long ward rounds in medicine, and sometimes I don't get to drink again until between the 7:30 or 8 a.m. until lunchtime, sometimes or later. And by then I'm getting a headache. I'm not feeling very good. So drinking water in the morning is always something that I wanted to do. And again, here comes that funny, like, why do I feel like it's hard to explain why I can't just do it. So I would find the pattern, Kristeen, that sometimes I wouldn't do it. So I looked at the points at which things went wrong, the points at which there was resistance and friction. And one of them was, I'm not really that excited to drink water in the morning. And then there's this barrier between me walking to the fridge and getting out a water bottle or getting out a glass and filling up the cup. And instead of having that extra barrier, whether it was me remembering to walk to the fridge or like being bothered to walk to the fridge, the kitchen, a different room and go and do it, instead I would just have a cup at my bedside table. So I have this cup here, I've got it with me right now, props, with a straw in it. And another problem was I didn't want to have glasses by my bedside because I have knocked them over once or twice. So that was a problem too. So I've literally just got this cup with a lid and a straw. And it means I don't have to remember in the morning. I roll over in the morning and the first thing I see is my water. And so I drink. It's so, so easy. And I can't tell you how funny it is that without that one little visual reminder, I won't drink water in the morning. I won't just take 10 extra steps and go to the fridge and get the water. So doing that one simple little tiny thing makes such a big difference. Another thing is I had so many days where I would get to work or wherever I was. I'd be working on my computer or I'd open my computer and my laptop was dead. And because I didn't have a charger with me, I now couldn't be productive in whatever I wanted to be and wherever I was. I'd already transported myself wherever, or maybe I was stuck at work. And so another thing that I've done to make my life easy and not have to, again, just remember as I put my laptop in my bag, I put a charger in my bag. Instead, I just have a charger that lives in my bag. So even if I don't take my laptop, my charger's always there. It's one less thing that I have to remember so that the important things are already backed up. I'm easily going to get off to my walk on time in the morning. I'm easily going to drink a liter of water in the morning, and I'm never going to have to go without my laptop once I've driven somewhere or once I'm at work. And if I have like a precious extra half an hour or hour to do some work. Does anything come up for you, Kristeen? I'm just racking my brain for a few of these.
Yes, I mean, well, I feel like I'm like calling myself out as guilty as charged, because you're right. If I actually haven't got a water system, but my system at the moment is to completely self-neglect that part of myself, go straight to the kettle, have a coffee, dehydrate myself further doing that, and later, about 12 p.m, I'll be like, I just haven't had any water today. I wonder why I have a headache. So yeah. But I think the other thing is really great about the cable example, because a spare charger for like a laptop, like a Mac or something, that feels like an investment. That can actually be a fairly pricey thing, or you might feel wasteful. You know, I sometimes struggle with this as well, loving to call myself a bit of a minimalist, but those things are so convenient, but you can be like, well, how many charging cables do I need? And you can kind of feel a bit like self-loathing when you're doing that. But I guess that's the trade-off, right? Is you have to think, well, what's more important to me? Do I keep not having my cable with me? Because if you're not going to buy another one, what's your system? How are you going to get around that? So I absolutely love this. And I guess the final one that I came up with, because I think it's a funny one, especially if you live with someone else, is laundry. Laundry sometimes lives on the floor or whatever. And one of the things that I think is I'm using for myself and also for other people is like, I really hate picking up sock weeds. How socks become little carpet weeds. You got to go and pick up the sock weeds. And when it's my socks, it's one thing. When it's someone else's socks, it's a little bit gross. So I feel like a game changer for that is to find out where did the sock weeds happen, and then make sure there's like a laundry basket like right there. Like, it doesn't matter where it is in your house. I have like several different places where laundry baskets exist, but it just means that they go straight in there and there's no more sock weeds. And yeah, just things like that. Home systems that support you as well. I love that you're normalizing this, because I feel less bad about the ways that I'm in my own way, but I think it's just a real human behavior. And I think to have these things top of mind so you can give yourself permission to let it be easy to solve the problems, because it is the systems, it's not you. It's just that as humans, that little extra step is going to be a barrier, and there's no need to feel bad about that, but just understand it, be completely emotionally neutral to it, and respond to it in a systematic way, and it could change your life.
And what do you want to spend your energy on? Do you want to spend your energy and your first thoughts in the morning on trying to remember to drink water? Do you want to spend your energy on going around and picking up the socks each day, or having to take off your socks in the normal place and then go and put them in a different room and then lose your train of thought for whatever you're doing? No, we don't want to spend our energy on that, guys. We want to make our lives easy. And this is why this is such a precious episode to do, because you will wish you'd done these things sooner. Like, once you start these things, you won't stop, because it's literally just making your life more easy, but making your results better. And Kristeen, I love that you talked about the potential competing intentions, competing interests. So if you have, and just be wary of these thoughts that come up that say, well, I don't want to get a second pair of runners because it's wasteful, or it costs this much money, or but look at those reasons that are also kind of, potentially the ones that are also really in your value set. And then step back and have another look at what it costs and what that trade-off is versus what you get if you develop this consistent habit, if you change your behavior, if you achieve your goal. And then look at the bigger impact of that, how you show up because of that goal being achieved and because of that new behavior being embedded, and how that affects the world too. So just questioning, watch the thoughts come up, let the discomfort come up, let the embarrassment come up when something feels too easy, and stay in that place long enough to get answers that are in your integrity. For 2025, we want it to be easy for you to be the best version of yourself. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode, and please take a minute to answer the question, what's a habit or what's a goal that I haven't been able to be consistent at this year so far, or that in the past I've set and I haven't been consistent at in the past? Where in the system is there friction, and where can I make things easy? Remember, you're allowed to make things easy. Remember, the convenience, the cost of the convenience might just be worth it if it's the difference between you not achieving that goal again, not creating that habit, that behavior again, and achieving it. All right, guys, we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
I've been waiting all my life for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd.